nice overall today. Medium weather and all that. And what's going on today? How about this one? Apparently there was a Predator drone that crashed. This one says MQ-9B Predator drone crashes after technical failure at Sea of Chennai. As it says here, the Indian Navy said that an MQ-9B Predator high-altitude, long-endurance, remotely piloted aircraft encountered a technical failure on Wednesday, after which the aircraft was navigated to a safe area over the sea and carried out a controlled ditching at the Sea of Chennai. Well, that's kind of interesting. It says a high-altitude, long-endurance, remotely piloted aircraft leased by the Indian Navy operating from INS Rajali, Arakanam, encountered a technical failure at about 1400 hours whilst on a routine surveillance mission which could not be reset in flight, the Ministry of Defense said. Later, the drone was navigated to a safe area over the sea and carried out a controlled ditching at Sea of Chennai, it stated. A detailed report has been sought from the original equipment manufacturer, it added. Wow, that's an expensive ditch per se. And it goes on to say the MQ-9B Predator drones flying for the Indian Navy are operated by General Atomics under a lease agreement between the Indian Navy and the American firm. The Indian side pays only for the services provided by the vendor, and the drones are flown by the pilots from the vendor's side. The Indian side has asked for a detailed report from the vendors on the accident, Navy officials said. Well, I guess that makes all the liability on them, huh? Like the manufacturer and stuff like that, based on this anyways. So it's kind of interesting. Again, it's kind of an expensive loss. And when I thought of drone manufacturers, India was one of those places where they were trying to promote, for example, only drones that are made locally and all that for specific uses. But how about this one? This one says, are drones free from Chinese components, says vendors at Him Drone A Thon 2. The Indian Army held a 2-day Him Drone A Thon 2 event at Wari La in Laka with an aim to showcase drone solutions for high-altitude applications. The vendors said that they followed the instruction of the government not to use Chinese components in their drones. A vendor, Shankar Sabra Makji from Mistro Exerpa Drone said, earlier we had no regulation for Chinese components, but nowadays Chinese components are banned. We can't say that everything is designed by Mistro. We depend a lot on the ecosystem. Ecosystem partners in the US, ecosystem partners in Europe, even the Indian ecosystem has become powerful, and Bangalore, we have capabilities, so with the help of these ecosystems, we made our drone. Well, that might be a trend in a lot of places where they find places like China to be a quote threat, as they are the biggest market players, I guess you could say, in terms of drones, especially for consumers. Further, he added, we have strictly gone ahead with no Chinese policies, and this was something which was about 2 years ago. We have designed India's smallest flight controller unit, which is called Eagle Kit. We have not used any Chinese components in my drone. Another drone vendor, Zain Sahid co-founder Inord said, we followed guidelines that were recently developed in our defense. Our drone's major components are designed in India, and few components we import from Taiwan. Well, let's see if this actually happens in other parts of the world too. That seems to be the trend actually in a lot of places, minus from what I had heard in the news. Places like Russia, for example, are cooperating with China in that regard in terms of tech, although China did say something about they're limiting things like export of their drones if they're being used for, say, military purposes and all that. But I guess we'll see, as this is one of those geopolitical issues when it comes to drones still. And there was a lot of this news popping up today. Apparently, the biggest YouTube creator is now, I guess, officially being sued for a lot of money too, and as well, Amazon. So what's going on here? It says Mr. Beast and Amazon sued by competitors from his $5 million reality show over alleged unsafe conditions. Mr. Beast is accused of creating unsafe employment conditions, including sexual harassment and misrepresenting contestants. Odds at winning his new Amazon reality show's $5 million grand prize in a lawsuit filed Tuesday by 5 unnamed participants. The filing alleges that the multi-million-dollar company behind YouTube's most popular channel failed to provide minimum wages, overtime pay, uninterrupted meal breaks, and rest time for competitors whose work on the show was the entertainment products sold by Mr. Beast. A spokesperson from Mr. Beast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, told the Associated Press in an email that he had no comment on the new lawsuit. Wow, everyone's coming after this guy, it seems like in recent times. Is he really, let's just say, that bad underneath? Or did he say something really bad that made someone upset that they didn't agree with? As an example, Donaldson's Beast Games was touted as the biggest reality competition. It was supposed to put the North Carolina content creator in front of audiences beyond the YouTube platform, where his record 316 million subscribers routinely watch his whimsical challenges that often carry lavish gifts of direct cash. But its initial Las Vegas shoot began facing criticism before it even wrapped. Donaldson's company cast 2,000 people in an initial tryout this July, where half could advance to the actual show's filming in Toronto, so it was done here in Canada. It says contestants only learned upon their arrival that Las Vegas pool surpassed 1,000 competitors according to the lawsuit, which significantly reducing their chances of victory. So, as mentioned, there's a lot of claims here in terms of things like sexual harassment, I guess inhumane conditions, and it says Mr. Beast's team also faces new accusation they knowingly misclassified the contestant's employment status to the Nevada Film Commission in order to receive a state tax credit for more than $2 million. It makes me wonder too, since they're suing Amazon as well. To my knowledge, Amazon simply purchased the rights of this production. They had actually no say in regards to how it was produced and all that, as the Mr. Beast person retained full creative control. So it makes you wonder how they could even, let's just say, sue Amazon in that regard, since they had no input. All they did was publish the video afterwards, I guess you could say. And at the same time, I guess, with all this controversy when it comes to things like videos and all that, when it comes to like a reality show, how about those ones where they specifically, for example, like that Survivor one where they put them on an island and they don't really feed them and so forth? Is that just all, quote, let's just say, all scripted, where they are fed a meal at the end of the day if they ate nothing? Or do they literally try to, for example, survive on their own per se? I know there's competitions and stuff like that. Obviously, there's medical personnel to take care of things if things go wrong. But it makes you wonder, in that case, is this necessarily correct to classify this as a film production per se, as if you're filming a movie versus something that is meant to be an extreme competition, if that makes sense anyway? So it's kind of interesting here how this would work legally anyways. All right, see you guys later.